I was writing one day, and Beausoleil was playing in the background, and I remember crying because like the background became clear for the first time, and I heard what he was singing for the first time, and I heard it in the exact way that I'm speaking to you right now, and that blew my mind.
Pourquoi? Comment?
Je suis Corey Porsche, je viens de Lafayette, j'habite à Baton Rouge. À cette heure, je travaille comme psychothérapeute.
Pourquoi? Why did you learn French?
It was a long road through many winding turns that led me to French as a young adult. I would say family, but more so at that time through the music. It was through, I'd kind of been introduced to and started playing Cajun music, and the Yellow album from the Balfour Brothers. They had the lyrics inside, and I finally had a window into what was this guy crying about, and got really fascinated, ran to my grandfather, who I remember speaking French to Miss Domain across the fence all my life, but was never really interested, just thought it was this weird thing that he did, and I don't know, this window opened up, started to talk to him about it, started to talk to some friends of mine that could speak French, and just became really interested, started my quest.
Comment? How did you go about learning French?
I signed up for a continuing education class through UL with Madame Phoebe Trotter in Cajun French, because I thought that that would be the most relevant to what I was trying to accomplish, which was basically sing songs, maybe talk to my grandpa a little bit. But one thing that was really key was I learned some of the differences between standard French and Cajun French that we covered in that very first class, which has stayed with me today. You know, it was actually kind of brilliant. And it was cute. I understood a few things. I understood a little bit more of like the lyrics and where they were coming from, but it definitely kind of opened the door for me to continue to want to learn more. I would say I wasn't really interested in standard French resources. I was really interested in a very specific, directed, focused thing, which was kind of lyrics and what was going on culturally around me, and especially with my grandfather. So it was really just Cajun stuff. And I think I did look at like Anne Savoie's book, because I was looking at that to garner more stuff about music, but there's lyrics in there as well. So I think that played a part too, but not really seeking out standard French at the time. So my grandfather, he's no longer with us, but he's a Creole man, but spoke, what I would say Louisiana French. I think he had a 4th grade education. So when I would ask him questions, he wasn't so into it. I noticed that a lot with native speakers. I don't want to say, I'm saying like people that are not geeks about language, people who just speak the language. Like at Whiskey River, for instance, I used to talk to those guys a lot. When you start to ask too many questions and make them look at something that they're just doing, they tend to kind of recoil a bit. And my grandfather would do the same thing. So we didn't get very far. He wasn't like much of a tutor, right? That changed probably after, I want to say it's about 3 weeks of me being at St. Anne's the first time in French immersion, that I called him and was able to have a conversation with him. Once again, I was very fortunate to be able to go to an immersive experience at Université St. Anne. But my work that I did prior to that, like having this bug where I was kind of hungry for this language and reaching out to local resources, taking that Cajun class through UL, starting to figure out who was speaking French and asking questions and all those kinds of things really prepared me to have a completely different experience when I did finally go there. After I got back, my roommates were from Quebec. They were Côte d'Ivoire teachers. And I think I was really, really lucky to have that experience, but that was world changing. So these people come into my house and all the other teachers come to hang out at my house and no one will speak English to me. And that, I always talk, there's this movie from the 80s where if you put on these glasses, you could see who the aliens are, but when you take them off, they're just, and that exists in Acadiana. right? So there's people who speak French that you're unaware of, but when you start to put those glasses on and start to seek it out, you start to notice a lot of things. And it's a beautiful, so later on, when I was speaking French more fluently, speaking French with a friend, walking through Albertsons, all of a sudden the guy stocking the shelves would turn around and respond to you in French. It's amazing. It opens up this whole world right here at home.
Un petit conseil? Got a tip?
And I would say find something that you love that will attract you and bring you in. So what do I mean by that? For me, it was music. So music really brought me in. I was willing to geek out and wanted to geek out about lyrics and finding out what they meant and all those things. So I would say find something that's interesting to you. If it's a book, if you're a literature buff, read a book. If you really like the news, there's different apps and ways that you could like listen to, I think there's like slow French or something like that, where you could listen to the news in French, whatever it might be. If it's theater, do that. Find something that you love, because to me, the transition from this being like homework to being something that's alive and something that I enjoy made all the difference in the world.
Merci d'avoir guetté ça. To find out how to get involved, visit us online.